Today I fucked up by taking my dog to the vet, NSFW. Let me start by saying that my dog has had issues with urinary crystals in the past few months. This morning I woke up to my dog puking on my bed. Alright, no biggie, sometimes they get upset stomachs just like we do. But anyways, great start to my morning. On to the actual event. I'm sitting drinking my coffee and Calvin, my dog, starts licking his genital area. Now because of his past problems with the urinary crystals, I am hypervigilant when I notice this, as that's how we caught the crystals in the first place. So I check it out, and see that there is a golf ball sized lump in his genital area. So, I do what any good dog owner does and panic, call into work, and take him to the vet. Did you know that when dogs get an erection, it can cause a golf ball sized lump in that area due to blood flow? Because I paid $60 to learn that my dog had an erection. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Reddit, I hope y'all are having a better morning than I am. Too long didn't read, paid $60 to the vet to find out my dog had a boner. Vet student here. That not that most people know it as, is called the bulbus glandis. During copulation, the bulbus glandis is part of the reason why dogs will lock up. What's also interesting is that in the female dog they also have erectile tissue in the walls of the labia called vestibular bulbs that will also engorge with blood and be the other half of the reason why dogs will lock up. You can also have male dogs that get paraphimosis, where their penis can't retract back into the prepuce. I would always explain to the owners that the car is too big for the garage. It can become an emergency if left out too long, penis will dry up, become irritated, and then get traumatized by the dog licking and biting at it. We fix this by covering the penis with sugar or cold water plus dextrose for a little while and then use some lube and gently retract it back in. Grandma. Excuse me? Why do you cover dog boners in sugar? When I was about 20, one of our dachshund was making sweet love to his stuffed bear. He finished his lovemaking and was standing there spraddle-legged and panting. His wiener was also touching the ground and he had this huge mass at the base. I started hollering for my husband and was about to cry. I told him that Rhodey had ruptured something and we had to get him to the vet right away. He started just dying laughing. Took him a while before he could explain what was going on. I never had dogs growing up, only birds, so I didn't know anything about them. We also had a Chihuahua who made out with his mouse, but he had been fixed so this didn't happen to him. We got Rhodey fixed soon after that. Oh my god, lol, this is great. I'm glad I'm not the only one who got confused in a situation like that. Funny enough, Calvin is fixed, but apparently it can still happen. Definitely a learning experience, haha. My parents once went to the vet with our dog because they thought his genitals were infected, red, swollen and wouldn't go back into the shaft, so they took him to the vet. The vet examined the dog's genitals and as he did, the dog lost it. He spewed his man milk all over the vet's hands and whatnot. It was disgusting, awkward and hilarious at the same time. Imagine getting nutted on by a dog. I feel your pain op. My dog has the same exact issue, and the exact same thing happened to me before. Luckily, I didn't have to take him to the vet to find out he just had a doggy boner. Haha, it was definitely a little embarrassing, but the vet laughed and said I would be surprised how many people have come in for the dog boners, lol. The golf ball part is called the not bulbus glandis, just to be pedantic, sorry vet here. Today I fucked up by showing my daughter her favorite movies rating on Rotten Tomatoes. One of the things that I have always enjoyed doing with my children was watching movies with them, both at home and at the cinema. We would visit the local video library every week and go to the movies regularly, and I spent much quality time with my children in front of screens large and small. If I remember correctly, the incident occurred when my daughter was about 8 or so and we were talking about some movie which had come out that had received bad reviews. My daughter was worried that this meant that the movie was a bad movie. Not necessarily, I said, look at this, and I showed her the Rotten Tomatoes rating for her favorite Pokemon movie. Pokemon 3, Spell of the Unknown was a movie we had found at the local video library and heartily enjoyed. Easily the best of the Pokemon movies we had seen. It had an interesting plot, some sinister supernatural elements, and genuine heroics on the part of the characters. Yet it unaccountable has a Rotten Tomatoes rating of just 27%. You see? I said. Just because people on the internet say something, it doesn't mean that they are right. Valuable life lesson in trusting your own judgment and not necessarily believing everything you read delivered. So what's the fuck up? The fuck up was that I could never use a movie's tomato rating as an excuse not to take her to it. If I ever tried, she would say, "Daddy, remember Pokemon 3? It might be a good movie after all." Too long didn't read. I showed my daughter that her favorite Pokemon movie had a low rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and destroyed forever after my being able to use the tomato meter as an excuse not to see a movie. Till how low all the Pokemon movies are on Arty. I thought the first movie was pretty good. The first movie is amazing. Arty critics just aren't the target demographic. This is the cutest fuck up I've read. Sparkling heart. Hey, you agreed to watch terrible movies the moment she was born. When I was younger, one of my favorite films was the live-action Garfield movie. So what did you do after your parents returned you to the wild? Wholesome. Today I fucked up. Good work, soldier. Today I fucked up by asking my 4-year-old what was inside a beanbag. This literally happened 5 minutes ago, and my wife is very cross with me. My 4-year-old was sitting on a beanbag, and quite innocently asked me what was inside to make it so wiggly. I told him it was full of little polystyrene beans, which is why it is called a beanbag. He thought I was being silly, presumably because to him beans come in a tin covered in tomato sauce. I asked him what he thought was inside, and he thought for a second and said lots of little balls, and I said, without thinking, "It's not called a ball bag, is it?" My mouth was faster than my brain, and I couldn't stop the words coming out. Ball bag? Was the very loud squeaky response, which obviously made me burst out laughing. Now ball bag is their funniest word in the world, and my wife is angrily trying to ask me why he is shouting it at the top of his voice. At least we are indoors for the next few weeks. Too long didn't read. My 4-year-old asked an innocent question, ended up teaching him a very inappropriate word, made wife very angry. Tell your wife that my 4-year is out in the front yard yelling at her 7-year brother that he is a fucking dickhead. I think your ball bag should get a pass. You know, this was great. I love when kids learn a new word and say it over and over. But when he thought you were being silly, I would have thought he would have opened it to prove you wrong. But then again, he's 4 and probably doesn't know there's a zipper. That would definitely be something to be cross about. This is fully what I was expecting to. Ops kid learning a new word is much better than finding little polystyrene balls all over the house for the next decade XD. Something quite similar happened to me. Non-native speaker, though I pride myself on being rather fluent in written English and try to be quick and banter in spoken English. Only I accidentally referred to a beanbag as to a ball sack in a crowd of people. Hey, wanna go sit on the giant ball sacks in the 3rd floor again later? Didn't notice it until someone started snickering. Elementary school, free gym time incorporated lots of use of the ball bag, the bag in which all of the random non-soccer/basketballs were kept. Softballs, tennis balls, dare I say shuttlecocks. This is a case of the word only being very inappropriate because you deem it to be, when in reality it's rather innocuous. I guess you could say that your wife is very testy with you.